Hey, everybody. My name's Hagen, and welcome back to Lettuce Comics. I am joined today by some of my favorite people. There is Ricky from All Sorts of Words, Nate, my wife from Hollyyak Comics, and Dave from Still Only 35 Cents. How are you guys doing?
Chilling.
Doing all right.
Dave, I do love the hat. It's a great hat.
As I say, I wore it especially for this show for you because I knew that it would resonate in some way, shape, or form. No idea why.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine why either. So I just wanted to do like a little get together because it's the end of the year. The holidays are sort of winding down. I know that they're kind of staggered for people. Like I've got a friend's Christmas coming up soon, but just a little bit of post Chestnut clarity to bring back the name that I'm very, very proud of.
That's a good one.
Thank you. But yeah, like how was you guys' Christmas?
It was the most relaxed day of the week for me, so I loved it. Christmas, we don't go anywhere. We get to stay home. We do all the traveling outside before and after, but Christmas Day is like just the three of us, my family sitting. So it's wonderful.
Nice.
I had a family gathering which I had to go to, which is not just three, it was like 25 people, and cooked roast potatoes. That was my contribution, and a bottle of wine, and that was it. But then I slept most of the afternoon because I indulged too much.
We did family Thanksgiving on Christmas Eve, and then I woke up Christmas morning with the flu. The full-blown 24-hour bug. It was brutal. I was like waking up at 9 a.m. in a haze, running to the toilet, like to puke my brains out, and then go right back to sleep and shout apologies at my wife from across the house to be like, we'll open presents later, I promise.
Oh,
Awful.
Man, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that.
Worst.
Oh, it was the worst. And we were just talking about how like her niece had a cold for Christmas, and we were like, oh, that sucks. It's always worse to be sick at Christmas. And then like God was like, I'll remind you.
I smite thee.
That's true. Yeah, no, he smited my whole asshole.
Poor man. What about you, Hagen?
It was really, really good. I got to spend some time with my my family and my in-laws. And my sibling gave me a really, really generous gift. My car's been broken forever, and I've been struggling to think about how I was going to replace it. And through a very fortunate turn of events for me, I have enough money for a down payment for a car. So yeah, Christmas has been really, really good to me.
Good.
Let me go ahead and say hi to some people that are here. Christina Payne was the first person in here. Hey, Christina.
Hey, Christina.
Hey.
Renegades here.
Jason.
K Munin.
And
JSS Brooklyn. And
JSS.
SideQuest. Hey, man. How you doing?
Eric.
And my name neighbor, Hayden from Next Gen.
Excellent.
Oh, and Dave. Mad Spidey just showed up.
There it is. Hey, good on you.
Can I start off by showing something that I know no one will care about, but is intensely meaningful to me?
Go for it.
Go for it, yeah.
This is a Steel Magnolia's first national tour commemorative pillow that was sold on Broadway.
That is amazing.
So now when I dream of my favorite movie, I'll have a pillow to go along with it.
You know, you said that was your favorite movie a while ago. And
it is 100% like complete earnesty. I will fight someone that it is not one of the greatest movies ever made.
Well, the thing is, I haven't watched it, and when you said that, I put it on like my list of stuff to watch.
So it's like so unironically, they do this magic trick in the movie where they introduce you to about like no joke like 15 characters in the first, I want to say 15 minutes. But the way they designed it is that every single character in their opening sentence tells you everything you need to know about them. And from then on, it's just building on that initial introduction. And then by the 20-minute mark, as characters are interacting and mixing and matching and asking each other questions and getting to know each other, you only feel like you know everybody more. And so by the time the movie ends at like 2.5 hours, you feel like you have intimate knowledge of every single person, and you know they're going to be okay. It's a feel-good movie, but it's brilliant. Julie Roberts, Dolly Parton.
I was going to say, it's Dolly Parton, right?
Dolly Parton is one of the, she's amazing in it. It's her best movie. And Julia Roberts, it's her best movie. It's her first movie. Great. Daryl Hannah, amazing.
If I wasn't sold on it before you said Dolly Parton, I'm sold on it because of Dolly Parton. So
and it's infinitely quotable.
Been years since I've seen that, but I do remember seeing it.
It has to go on my list. I haven't seen it.
Now you've got no people watching. Way to go.
Yeah,
we gained a viewer actually. So
it's the Steel Magnolias audience.
Yeah, finally. Someone jumps on.
All right, so Dave had a hat. I want to see if my wife got me this hat for Christmas, and I love it so much. I want to see if anybody knows what it's from.
I do.
I had a feeling you might.
No, I don't.
Okay.
It
It makes it look like I'm a sports fan. That's what I really like about it, because I don't know nothing about sports. But go ahead, Ricky.
Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
It's a Cisco reference. The captain.
Cisco was obsessed with baseball, and in one episode, they actually play baseball against a rival team of Vulcans, and it's one of the best episodes of Deep Space Nine. It's absolutely hilarious. But I couldn't believe she got me that hat. So now I can walk around. I can pass for a normie. People will be like, "Oh, he likes baseball," but I don't know. I don't know anything about it. But I do like Deep Space Nine.
I miss Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
Voyager is where Star Trek ended for me.
So these DS9 Star Trek ended.
He said
for me. So originals, it goes original series, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager. Cut it off. You don't need to watch anymore. You're good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I watch all the new crap. Although Enterprise, whew, that was rough. That was a rough watch.
Not as bad as Discovery. I'm glad that they've decanonized Discovery.
Have they really?
Had to. When in the beginning, when they were saying it's canon, I'm like, technologically, it doesn't even make sense. Why are we doing this?
Oh, it's so bad.
Guess how they decanonized it? That in the last episode of Lower Decks, they said it was an alternative universe, and that's how they decanonized the whole thing.
I actually just have the last episode of Lower Decks to watch, so thanks, Dave. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah. Well, I haven't revealed how they do it, but they do it in a neat way.
If nothing else, Ricky, you should watch Lower Decks, because it is a good Star Trek show, but it's a satirization of Star Trek as well. Like, there's a lot of deep cut jokes in it, and if you were going to watch anything from all the new stuff they've put out, that's my favorite, and it sucks that it's over.
It gave me vibes of like Batman Brave and the Bold. Did you see Batman Brave and the Bold, the cartoon show?
Yeah.
A lot of people haven't, but like it really is a love letter to like Silver Age Batman.
Yeah.
Like Gorilla Grodd's plot is to turn everyone in Gotham into a banana so that the gorillas will never go hungry again. It's hilarious.
Batman Brave and the Bold is something that I've only ever experienced in YouTube shorts, because they just pop up through my feed while I'm mindlessly doom scrolling. And it's zany. I can understand why like modern like superhero fans wouldn't super be turned on to it, because Batman isn't, what did you say earlier, Ricky, being backed by Nirvana, but like, yeah, it's fun, you know? Yeah. Full disclosure, me and Hagen were talking about this before we started recording, and you guys even got here, that like one of the reasons obviously why I'm so in love with Crypto in the new trailer is because I am sick and tired of comic book movies being ashamed of their heritage. Like, we have to make the costumes realistic. There has to be a 20-minute montage where we explain all aspects of their powers, because the audience won't be on board if we just show them doing cool stuff. I absolutely hate it. And like the fact that Crypto had his little cape on, like, because if it was Zack Snyder, he would have been a bulldog with no cape.
Right.
and a full-on erection. I'm sick of it. And like, I know that Snyder had his fans, and culturally there's some significance behind the Snyder cut and all that stuff. I get it. But like, he didn't get Superman. He didn't get him. Sorry.
No.
There's no hope. There's no hope in that character.
Oh yeah, when Pa Kent's like, I don't know, maybe you should have killed all those kids, and Superman's like, that's a good idea, Dad. Like, what are we watching?
But I mean, you should have killed all those kids. Also, just let me die because I'm so tired of this movie.
We can only pay Kevin Costner for so many minutes of screen time.
Yeah, and he wrote his own lines. All those kids, Superman.
I always remember walking out the last. I think it's the ending where Superman. I won't ruin the ending because spoilers. You know, I've already ruined one thing. But I didn't like the idea that Superman dispatches people.
Mm-hmm.
This just does not resonate with me. It's not real. This can't be real. This is not how this thing works. Find another way. But
it was awful. and the thing is, like, I like Zack Snyder's like technical work for like big obscene action pieces. But it just does not work. All of his DC stuff just drove me up the wall with how grimdark everything had to be.
That hurts.
Yeah, Ricky, I'm sorry that I had to show you that, but he said it in the chat. So, Ricky and I were talking about this earlier. We will get to that in a second. But if I don't say this now, I'll forget. Ricky and I were talking about this earlier. When you make Superman like a dispassionate god who saves people almost begrudgingly, it looks like everything that's interesting about that character is it's gone. Like you have to have like that boyish like optimism and charm, and it's out of place now, kind of, but that's kind of the point of the character, you know?
Yeah. He's the only evidence in fiction that we have that absolute power does not corrupt. Like, he's the only example you can point to of like someone who has infinite power. You can't kill him. He's not going to die. And he's only going to help out people who are weaker than him, who happens to be everyone.
I still love that shot in the trailer where he cradles that child as the canisters are flying through. And someone's done a science breakdown on that and going, the reason why he's cradling her head is so that the speed that he's going at, it doesn't impact her spine. And I'm like, he thinks about these things. But clearly James Gunn does.
Now, if we could see the rest of the footage, he just folds the girl in half
and
claps her together, and she shoots blood out, and then it's psych, it's Zack Snyder. Yes, agreed.
He walks out of the corn.
That's right.
I'm waiting for my crypto popcorn bucket. I'm waiting for like this is a great age for Rickies out there who want crypto merchandise, because I'm gonna get t-shirts, I'm gonna get onesies.
Yeah,
there needs to be a plush that comes out. I'm like sure that there will be.
Oh, for sure, no question.
Yep.
I now realize, Ricky, why you liked that 2000 AD cover as well, because of the puppy on the front.
Yes, yeah, with the dog. Yeah, anytime. Dogs, man. Dogs are literally the best. I've never met. It's that Bill Murray quote. I always trust a dog when they don't trust a human, but I never trust a human when they don't trust a dog.
Mm-hmm. Really quick before I get to what Son of Crom said, Richard's here. Hi, Richard. We love you.
Richard.
Crom, if crypto brings millions of little kids into the movie, then yes, he will belong. Like, comic books and comic book movies are for kids. We're co-opting this as like old guys, you know, like that's what this is for. And I don't know. I really like seeing kids enjoy things. I don't know. Hot take, but happy kids are it's good to see.
Yeah, and the only reason we're nostalgic for this stuff is because they made movies for us when we were kids in these, you know, Star Wars franchises, Superman, Batman movies from when I was a kid. Yeah, I mean, there's a way to do it that's really well done for fans, for older fans, and for kids. And Zack Snyder's Man of Steel is not it.
No.
Yeah.
What child would find that
Oh my!
3-hour and 45-minute morose Superman enjoyable?
Was it? It's Batman versus Superman. So my story with that is I saw it once in the theater and absolutely hated it. So of course I turned around and bought the Blu-ray when it came out, and I bought the one with the extended cut on it, and because I thought, oh, maybe if it's a different edit, it won't be as terrible. So I watched it and I was like, that was just as bad, and I didn't recognize a single extra in it. I watched the wrong disc. So I just watched the theatrical version again at home, and I've never gone back. I've still never seen the director's cut of that movie. I have no idea if it's different or not. But it's everything he did with DC just brought me pain.
I'll say it. Wonder Woman sucked.
I didn't hate the first one.
I didn't hate Wonder Woman. I thought it was okay.
The second one was absolutely atrocious.
Oh, I have no idea what was going on in their minds, the writers there. That's just, let's just take over this gentleman's body and let's not even think about that.
And then they let her get all the pawns, and there is the best. I can't believe the budget that movie must have had. And there is a scene where she rescues an obvious child-sized dummy. I think twice, once in a mall and then once in front of a truck. And it's the most comical, like B movie looking, like they didn't do any kind of after effects to try to make it look better. The second movie was horrible. I'm not saying the first movie was good, but I'm judging it against other DC movies that had come out. And it's like, this one's watchable.
It was the worst of the bad bunch. It was the best of a bad bunch.
It was the best of the bad ones.
But the Flash movie was better than we deserved.
No,
we didn't deserve any better than that.
I feel like I did. I sat through so many seasons of the CW Flash.
Oh, wow.
I watched all of Arrow. I mean, I have a sickness. Like I say watch, like I turn it on while I'm doing other things, and every now and again you hear a line and you look at the TV and you're like, what is happening? I didn't finish The Flash, but I watched a lot of seasons of The Flash. I watched a lot of seasons.
You sound like Bill Clinton saying, "I didn't inhale."
I did. I inhaled. I watched.
Finish it.
I didn't finish it. I watched some of it from my peripheral vision. But yeah, those CW shows were terrible, and I hated the actor that played the Flash in the movie so much. I hated him in the Justice League. I hated him in his own movie. He did not embody Barry Allen to me. He didn't strike me as somebody who would hold down the job as a forensic scientist.
I love that that's what you're concerned about. By the way, guys, if any of you have anything that you brought like specifically to show, like Dave, if you have a Steel Magnolia's body pillow to one up Ricky, like absolutely just like jump in and show it off. But I'm happy just meandering wherever we happen to go.
I do. Speaking of DC and James Gunn, I did bring this along.
Oh,
I managed to pick one of these up.
Hold on just a second.
Is that the first appearance?
That is the first appearance. So I've been very good today. I bought DC books because I know the audience.
Your bag and board has abs.
I know. Let me take this out because it's dreadful.
It's a little wavy.
That's better.
That's much better. Frankenstein fighting Nazis. It just doesn't get much better than that.
Can't get any better than that.
Now, I obviously know what that is because I'm a learned and educated man. But for everybody out there who doesn't, what is that?
That is the first appearance of the Creature Commandos. And you get them on the front cover. Although not the Creature Commandos that you see in the TV show. I think you've only got Frankenstein on the front cover. That's the only one, I think, from the original, from the TV show, right?
I've only watched the first episode of the show. I've gotten way behind on it. Yeah, he does appear. He wasn't on the team, but maybe.
Yeah, he's at the end.
Yeah,
he does he does appear in second episode quite substantially, and then he's definitely back. And then I got this as well, which is I think it's their second appearance in Weird War Tales. I think 97. Yeah, 97. These are not in super high grade, but
I love Weird War Tales.
Yeah, it's such a good title.
It really is. It's so weird.
I mean, just look at that. You get beautiful skull. It's
I
just.
also appreciate a hefty amount of reading. I know people like they turn a page and they see a lot of text in a book and they get turned off, and I'm like, oh, thank God, it's gonna tell me a story.
I miss that. That's actually one of the things I really miss about these old school books is all of the text and the fact that you had to read it rather than it just be, a panel and you conveying all the emotion in a panel. It's like you can have a thought bubble every now and again, folks.
Yeah.
They don't anymore. So yeah, I thought I'd bring that because that was I have you three to thank for my burgeoning DC collection.
3.
It's not. Don't you blame this on Hagen?
Well, I won't blame it on Hagen, but definitely yourself and Ricky. I'm picking up books that you both show.
Well, I'm going to show some DC books. Let me show you something. This is a get from everything I'm showing. I got this year. This is a Golden Age adventure comics from May of 1948.
Holy
this is Adventure Comics 128. This is the first time Superboy and Lois meet in comic books.
That is awesome.
Really
good. I love that.
Nice yellow. I love the yellow on it.
And he's like closing his eyes as part of the story so he doesn't like see her, so that it still justifies later on in the future him being enamored with her for the first time. But it was $50 on Mercari and nobody wanted it, and so I stole it.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my God, Mercari. I used to be like, well, if I talk about Mercari, everybody's gonna go on Mercari and start like drawing up everything on there. But I've been talking about it for like since the all year and a half of my channel, and nobody's listened to me. But like, if you go on Mercari, you can find crazy deals every day, and people just don't.
I will say that their search algorithm is garbage.
It's trash.
100% garbage.
Worst.
It is. But if you're patient, it rewards you. Like what I do is I do the chicken feet, the finger puppets. What I do is I have like first appearance FIRST saved, first appearance 1ST saved, first app saved, and then as the new ones come up, I'll scan the hot Golden Age comic, Silver Age comic, and I search through all these different titles that I have saved up, and you can get some good stuff on there.
Where is Mercari? What is it? How do you find
the internet?
It's on the internet.
It's an app on my phone.
Do they have the internet in Australia, right?
They do, but I've never heard of such a place.
It's called the Tubery-Doos.
It's a long series of didgeridoos.
It's all carried.
What happened? Your AOL sound is that like the didgeridoo?
My didgeridoo is right over there, actually.
We'll give you 500 dues down and 10 dues up.
I've never heard of Mercari. I'd never heard of it.
Yeah, Mercari. I'm looking right now to see if there's anything crazy on it.
It may not be a worldwide site.
I know they do ship from Japan now. That's a thing. Because like all of a sudden my Godzilla keyword blew up and they had like an announcement that said like they're working specifically with the Japanese government. Here we go. $80 for a mixed silver and golden age lot, and it is a mixed lot, but it does include New Gods #1. So you can get like a bunch of other books and a reasonably priced New Gods #1. That's an easy get. First appearance. What do we got here?
How do you spell it? Because
MERCARI. It's very phonetic.
I love that the stream is devolving into men shopping.
It's not like Mercari. Okay, yeah.
Hagen, second to last one by Cayman, and third to last one. Just noticed the Metal Gear Solid poster. So that's the 25th anniversary poster when the game came out with the Legacy Collection, and I've been taking that to conventions all over the world and getting any voice actor that can that acted in the Metal Gear Solid games to sign it. And I have David Hayter's right across the top. He was fantastic. And then I've got like Quentin Flynn, who was Raiden, but he was like Axel in the Kingdom Hearts games. I've got Phil Lamar, who was the Rastafarian from Futurama, but he also did Vamp in that series. I've got a whole bunch of SIGs on it. I love that.
That's awesome.
Metal Gear's my jam.
Hagen, I found something that K Munion's just gonna hate. So
oh god.
So this is I found this my son and I went and did some digging today. Half Price Books had 20% off. So this was in the dollar bin for some reason. So I got it for 80 cents. It's Man of War. And it says at the bottom, it says Ferret versus Man of War. Enough said. Like, are they allowed to do that? I mean, this is a Malibu comic and they're doing the Marvel thing.
Stan Lee stole from everybody, so it's only fair someone can steal.
Very true. It's also like, it's not enough said, because this book the art is, I mean, even for 90s, like 90s trash, this is something.
What's going on there?
I want his groin front and center.
I mean, right in the middle. I want everyone to see his crotch.
I want to smell it through the book.
Can you smell what the Man of War is cooking? So the ferret doesn't even show up until like page 21, even though this is supposed to be their fight. And I didn't read this, but I leafed through it. But this made me laugh out loud. So he says something like, "Don't you remember? Guns don't kill people. Ferrets kill people." I mean,
the worst part is, imagine being the last thing you hear. And then you get your brains blown out.
By a psychopath in a ferret costume. Yeah, so like you get that, you don't even get a fight. Like, that's it. Now it's over. This is not Ferret versus Man of War. This was what
more do you need with a line like that? Like, that's crazy. I actually brought that because I sort of conglomerated like some books that I just enjoyed getting over this past year, and I brought the Ferret not just to piss off K Munin, but because this is the most like exposed dollar I've ever spent. Because like, I mean, it's not like gone viral or anything, but like on that stream that I showed it off first, Matt bought the run. Matt from Matt Likes Comics bought the run. People send me messages about the fucking ferret, and like this has become my legacy, I guess, is that I don't know, but I think it's funny. But K Munin, I do think about you every time it gets shown off, and I do have some guilt in my heart for that, but it's funny. So what are you going to do? I think
what killed me the most about that wasn't that Matt bought it. He bought it while we were still streaming and talking about it. Like, he came into the chat and he's like, "I bought the whole thing." we just died. Like, of course you did. Every issue, all 10 of them. I think there's 10.
Then I seem to recall he came on another live stream with you and showed them all off.
Yeah.
He did. Yeah, he sure did.
He made a video of them too. It's great.
It's God,
a
night cat fetish.
Oh God, man. Yeah, I was just about to mention Nightcat. The fact that you found that LP is nutty. Like, that's really cool.
Ugh.
And you got yours.
Yay!
So speaking of unironically loving things,
have you listened to it?
I listened to one side.
It's fabulous. It's got so much content, and I got a promo too. It's this promo one. I love the way they.
It's the same thing. It's just different mixes of the same song, but like
not for sale.
I mean, I don't know. I don't mind this kind of. I don't mind that kind of music. It doesn't. I don't hate it.
Didn't you describe it as bad Paula Abdul?
Yeah. It's like bad Paula Abdul. It really does.
That's kind of a low ceiling already, isn't it?
You have 2 copies.
It's like a bad hernia.
Yeah. It's like they're like rabbits.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, I found
and this was just Stan Lee trying to like make a buck, right?
Oh yeah. I mean,
surely.
I the way
I didn't believe in Nightcat.
No. Just you wait. The video, there's so much secret history behind this thing. And
I can't wait.
There's some very dodgy things.
That's awesome.
They never found that girl.
Oh no, I found her.
Yeah, cut to you in like 2 weeks with a thumbnail that's just you holding a shovel.
Whatever happened to Nightcat?
There's two of them. That's the irony as well. That's the thing.
Right. I did know
really...
that. I did know that. And
Oh,
apparently
sorry.
there's a, I think she shows up in something, like she's a guest star in something, but that is the, you know, the comic character. But that one issue is the only official Nightcat comic that ever happened, which I'm shocked the way that, like, you know, people like Dan Slott always brought back a lot of Marvel one-offs and you know, C&D listers, that she never came back in something.
I remember Stan Lee did this run in the it was the 2000s, and it was he worked with DC, and it was Stan Lee invents the Justice League.
Oh,
Stan Lee
so
invents
bad.
Batman. The day I realized
Dave,
I was too old for Stan Lee is like 6 of the stories he tells involve like a character running away to the circus. Over and over and over again.
There it is.
Superman starts out in the circus. Flash starts out in the circus. I think Green Lantern starts out in the circus. They all start out in the circus, and then like there's a few of them that are like, yeah, oh god, they're so. I don't think I ever read Aquaman.
Aquaman is a man made of water this time.
that art's awful too.
So in reality, he's just a man made of an extra 25% water.
So, like, I mean, should Spider-Man just be a guy made of spiders?
Gross.
I think I'll just make him he's just made of spiders. He's full of them.
He's Oogie Boogie.
He's a million ants from Rick and Morty.
That's what I was thinking of.
I was going to do a video on this, but I picked this up at a secondhand. This is a comic book of Stan's memoirs. It's like his sort of story. It's pretty good in interior art, actually.
By Stanley,
but it's written by Peter David, and it's art by Colin Duran, and it's just I just picked it up. It was like 25 Australian, so what, like $16, $17, $18. But I thought that's not a bad little pickup, and it was quite funny to read. But yeah, I didn't know about the DC what do they call it?
Oh, where he like reinvents it. Yeah. What if Stan? It's like what if Stan Lee wrote? It's almost like a what if book, and it's like called Stan Lee invents whatever.
It's just imagine. Just imagine. Stan Lee created the Flash.
Yeah, it's as bad as you would imagine.
It's bad. I have one of the trades of that, and I think I know it has the Flash in it, and I think maybe the Justice League, maybe Batman. I don't remember. I read it once. And that was enough.
They re-released it with Absolute Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman recently. No, I'm joking. It feels that way.
Did you read that? Like Trinity? Did you ever read that book, Trinity? It's a DC book. It's a book that was supposed to be like embracing the fact that people called Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman the Trinity over at DC, and it's called Trinity. And it's like 52 issues. They did it for a year. And it was one of the worst things I ever read. DC does that a lot. DC. Here's the difference between DC and Marvel. Marvel will tell a worse story. The threshold is lower over at Marvel. DC's problem is they will tell a bad story like an SNL joke, and it'll just go forever. And so you'll see these terrible stories at DC that went for like 70 issues. And it's like, it's never been good. Why did you go this far? And I never understood it.
Yeah, I'm amazed at how long books used to go on at DC. It's like they're like, we've always just made it. We'll just keep putting it out. But
like, what is it? The Detective Comics is on like issue like 1100 or something.
Yeah,
like
Detective
that?
and Action are both. They timed it so that Detective and Action, they like delayed one book. And sped up another one so that they could time it so that they came out with their 1000th issue at the same time. I have the issues are collectible covers. Like the Superman one it's like Superman, Lois Lane, John Kent, and then like on the other one it's like Bruce Wayne, Catwoman, and Damian, and then both of their dogs are in it. That's why I wanted it. But yeah,
I think more superheroes should have pets. I think
Yeah.
I said that to one of you guys before, but superheroes should have pets. I like it.
So in the Nightwing run, Tom Taylor's Nightwing run, he had what was his name? Was Bitewing. That was a great, like, those were great little moments that they had in there. Now, I bought Identity Crisis, and it was not very good.
This is for babies.
Shocker.
It was
They don't tell you. They don't tell you when it's exactly for babies or when it's for people who just love animals.
Yeah, I wish I would have known. It was bad. But yeah, Bitewing rules in the Tom Taylor Nightwing book. And there's even something, I can't remember who comes up with the name for the dog, but it's not Dick, and he's like, yeah, that's perfect.
Wonder Woman's got a kangaroo.
Mm-hmm.
Has she?
Yeah, Jumpa.
Jumpa. It sounds like an Australian said it. His name is Jumpa.
Yeah, Wonder Woman is a kangaroo.
Supergirl's got a cat and a horse.
Streaky, yeah, and a horse.
Kate Bishop has Jeff the land shark.
Yes. What about the one-eyed dog? He was in the Hawkeye?
You mean one-eyed snake?
No.
Oh,
and that's something different.
Lucky
No.
people.
I know what that is. That's what my uncle showed me that one Thanksgiving.
The Avengers have Jarvis. He's only allowed to eat the leftovers that they don't eat at the table. That's what he lives off of.
I'm surprised they haven't done anything with Lucky the pizza dog. I liked Lucky. That have you ever read that issue, which is told from his perspective?
I want it so bad.
I
want it so bad.
I feel like I did. I feel like that came out when I was working at the comic book shop, and I used to just read everything off the wall because they let me.
That book is so
Sabrina has Salem.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, that's what made me think of her.
Now hold on just a second, because I know what that is.
Yeah.
Oh.
And she gets the first page. That's the best part about this first appearance. For those of you who don't know, I'm about to show you. Archie's Madhouse 22. She literally gets the first page. Bang. Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Oh, that's a good splash page.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Wow.
Yeah, I love Sabrina. But yeah, she has Salem. If you want to get technical and say like a robot's a pet, Judge Dredd's got Walter.
Walter. Yes. Did you see he wished everyone happy Christmas on my stream recently.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if that counts as a pet.
Adam's family has a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does anybody in the chat, do any of you guys know of any other superhero pets?
Inhumans have Lockjaw.
Inhumans do have
Lockjaw.
Lockjaw.
I see. I always take exception to that.
Is he like a sentient creature that is like just a dog?
That's his form when he got exposed to the Terrigen Mists. So it's like this poor guy mutates into the form of a dog, and he's unable to communicate anymore.
Oh, that sucks.
Like, actually, that was his mutation, and it's like that's why I'm all like, because someone else said it the other day. I'm like, no, it's not a dog. He looks like a dog. I always feel sorry for him.
That's so brutal because you get one guy who has a voice that can blow up planets, and then this other guy turns into a teleporting dog.
Exactly.
That blows.
That's terrible.
That's ass.
And Medusa's like, I guess my hair grows. That's some weak stuff, man.
It's like that game of straws, and it just dog teleport for you.
Oh, I got Bulldog.
Oh yeah, Katie Pride's dragon.
Lockheed.
Lockheed, yeah.
Lockheed.
I actually do like those.
Yeah, and side quest said Lockheed counts. I'm gonna count Lockheed. Why not?
Lockheed counts.
Teen.
We haven't said it yet, but Batman has Ace.
Ace
the Bat Hound,
which he just kind of comes and goes. Damien had a whole menagerie for a while.
Damien had Bat Cow.
He had Bat Cow, which was awesome when he decided he's a vegan and he saved all those animals.
That was a great issue where Bat Cow breaks out of the house and he's like, a car of bank robbers almost hit him and they swerve and run into a tree, and then like they bring the cow back to the Wayne Manor, and Bruce is like, good cow. Like he broke out for the day and stopped a crime.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that was a good one.
Ricky, is the Super Pets movie worth watching? I assume you watched it.
I have not watched it.
Okay.
I feel like it's for kids, and so like I didn't want to. It's hard because like we do. You said it earlier that like this stuff is for kids, and so like as an adult, sometimes if I know something's gonna suck, or I think it will suck, I just kind of avoid it.
There is a line of demarcation though, and that one definitely was marketed at kids. Like I saw it because my son wanted to see it, and it was fine, but I feel like was Kevin Hart in it? I feel like Kevin Hart was in it a lot.
He was Ace.
Yeah, he's in it a lot.
The thing that turned me off from that movie was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He just kind of poisons every movie that he's in to me. I just don't care for him, but you know, to each their own.
I don't care. Like I don't. He wasn't the one. It was just like, so that's the thing, is like it's just celebrity voice showcase is what a lot of those movies are. It doesn't, they're not necessarily picking a great actor for the characters, and they weren't trying to do the characters anyway. It was, I don't know. What I remember of the story was like kind of like, for a kids movie, it was kind of okay. Like the way it started with Superman going missing or something, and Crypto like, I gotta save him. But yeah, Crypto was the Rock. That's not the good boy, I think. That's not the voice I think I'm gonna hear.
Hated. The reason I forgot Red Wing is because Red Wing isn't a pet. He's Falcon's partner. So get it right. Also, I just completely fucking forgot. I was so mad that they made Red Wing a drone. I know that nobody else cared, but I was mad that, you know, Sam didn't actually have a bird. I wanted him to have a bird.
See, that's what I mean. I feel like comic movies are like at least 30% ashamed of their source material.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And they're deathly afraid that they will somehow make a bomb, even though when they go and do their own thing, they make a freaking bomb. You know, I think of like the X-Men movies that were so, you know, X3 was just horrid because it deviated from all of the Phoenix source material. There was not that that's a high watermark. I don't know. I've read it like once in my life, but at least they could have done something. Their explanation about her being in some kind of coma or something, like people literally laughed out loud in the theater I was at when they were trying to explain the Phoenix Force. Or am I thinking of the newer movies? Whatever it is, there's some bad ones out there, and it's because they don't, like you said, they're afraid, they're embarrassed of where they came from. And the ones that seem to be really successful, like the first couple Spider-Man movies, they're bright, they're colorful. You know, the villains sort of match. I don't like Power Ranger Green Goblin, but I do like Willem Dafoe.
Yeah. That's just one of those situations where like Conan O'Brien talks about it a lot. If you go into a bit that is ridiculous and you're not committed to it, it will not be funny. It won't work. But if you're 100% committed, then people will just accept that that's the world that you live in, and it'll be okay. But you have to commit to it. And like, yeah, one thing like from X-Men 97 was they did a riff off of the, like, what did you expect? Yellow spandex, Cable, or Scott gives Cable a suit, and he was like, what did you expect? Black leather? And it's just I don't know, man. Like, it's a superhero suit. It's going to be dumb. Just roll with it. It's fine.
Yeah. And that's why I have a lot of faith in the new Superman movie. Like James Gunn's Guardians movies had that 100% buy-in to the ridiculousness of the universe he was creating.
Bud and Lou.
Oh.
Bud and Lou. Those are their names.
It's true.
I didn't know that they had names.
They're Bud and Lou.
Oh, in Barkham Asylum, the Joker has a dog. What's the Joker's dog's name?
I don't know. I have the
just
issue.
say
I didn't bother reading
Barkham Asylum?
Yeah.
It came out this last free comic book day.
Barkham Asylum. It's about the villain pets.
I need my pen. I have to write that down.
Barkham Asylum.
I mean, with modern movies being an exception, like indie comic movies got it. That like a lot of them all got the spirit. TMNT got the spirit. Judge Dredd got the spirit. Tank Girl got the spirit. Crow got the spirit. And then I think those coming out and being as good as they were is what informed Blade being as good as it was. Blade 1. I know it's Marvel, but I count it.
See, you said TMNT's got the spirit, and the first one that I thought of was the Michael Bay one, and I was very confused for more than a second.
No.
Yeah, those.
The second one where Bebop and Rocksteady's penises keep falling out, and the other one keeps going, "My man."
Mm-hmm.
The whole movie. You'd think you could only come up with an excuse for one of them to see the other one's penis once. That movie set out with a goal.
You clearly didn't go to the Michael Bay Screenwriting Academy, because there's an entire course on whipping it out.
Yeah, my man.
I don't think I saw the second one. I did see the first one. Were Bebop and Rocksteady as bad as the racist Transformers from Revenge of the Fallen?
They were as racist, not more or less racist.
Yeah,
just as racist.
I don't even know, like, to talk about the Transformers movies, I don't even know which ones I've seen and which ones I haven't. Like, I've seen a lot of them, but at one point Shia LaBeouf's in it, and in another one Mark Wahlberg's standing there for some reason.
In Transformers The Last Night, spoiler alert, you dickheads, Mark Wahlberg is in fact the Last Knight. He
fights a Transformer with a sword. It's stupid. It's stupid.
It's so offensive. Who was this for?
Oh,
no, I
is awesome.
To date myself a bit, and maybe to make you guys feel bad, I was given Transformers. I was given Transformers on DVD for Christmas when I was like 9, and I thoroughly loved it. Like I thought it was great. Looking back on it now, it is okay, but yeah, it went off the rails. If it was ever on them, it went off the rails pretty quickly after that.
Bumblebee was sick.
Bumblebee was great.
Bumblebee was sick. I'll stand behind Bumblebee.
Yeah, Bumblebee was so good.
But that was a reinvention. That was going back to the original source material.
Right, because they didn't tell everybody. See, I've kept up with the Transformers movie. This is a dark secret of mine. I've seen them all except for the new animated one that just came out, Transformers 1.
I saw that a couple weeks ago. It is. I enjoyed it. I couldn't stop seeing Chris Hemsworth in my head because he's not Peter Cullen. He's just not Peter Cullen. We got
through half of it. My son fell asleep and he never asked to watch the second half. So I feel like I dodged a bullet.
Yeah, but so like they did Transformers like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then they did Bumblebee, and they didn't tell everybody that they were going to reboot the timeline and tell like earlier stories, but they did. And so they did Bumblebee, and then the Transformers Beast Wars takes place before all the movies as well. It goes like the timeline's like Bumblebee's Beast Wars because Optimus Prime's on Earth and he's being like a jerk to humans. Mm-hmm. And he's like, human. Like he's like kind of, it has like a racist like edge to it. Like, human. But then at the end of that, they allude to us meeting up with G.I. Joe in the Transformers.
Yes.
But then they're not in the timeline that we know. So then how does that, what are we doing?
Anytime the Joes show up in Transformers, I hate it. I just absolutely hate it. I like them being two distinct things. I do not like seeing G.I. Joes and Transformers stuff. It's the only thing that I don't like about like the current Hickman run is that the Joes have shown up. I just want them to keep it separate. I don't know. I'm a baby.
I really like the Transformers run that's out right now. It's like shockingly good.
Oh, Void Rivals?
No, the actual Transformers ongoing. Written by Daniel Warren Johnson.
That's who I was thinking.
And it's so good. Like it really is. Like in those early issues, there's one point where Optimus Prime's like running through a field, and it's like an Iron Giant moment. This deer is dead, and he's just like looking at it, and he's real sad, and it's like I didn't, the place I came from wasn't like it wasn't like this. It's just really well done, and I hear what you're saying, Hagen, but like in the new G.I. Joe book, which I did pick up the first couple, I like that like GI Joe's lasers and all their dumb shit is derived from reverse engineered Transformers tech that they've picked up. Like, I think that's kind of cool, you know, like that's why they're shooting lasers, and that's why you know, Cobra and Joe are going against each other, because they're both trying to get to these, you know, technological advancements or whatever. But Transformers is the better book right now. You're deeper into it than I am.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't even like mixing up like my action figures when I played with them as a kid. Like, I kept them segregated. So
You never had a Ghostbusters Turtles adventure?
what year did Ghostbusters come out?
He did not have Ghostbusters toys.
Yeah, because I think Ghostbusters came out in like 88.
Sounds right.
If it came out if it came out in 88, that was 10 years before I was born. So I did not have
84.
84. 14 years before I was born.
Okay. That's how much older I am than you, because I was born in 85. So like as a baby, Ghostbusters was like a presence in my house.
Okay, I was born in 76. Beat that, Dave.
I can go hard over that one. I've got memories of playing with Micronauts and Star Wars figures from 1979, something like that.
So he wins.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'll win, but I think the merging of Micronauts and Star Wars first series is probably.
You had cooler toys and affordable housing. You won.
That's true.
Some kid nicked my toys. That's the problem. He came around the house and took everything. So my time travelers from Micronauts disappeared, alongside one of the gun. I had the massive Micronauts. There was this humongous Star Cruiser that would complete, like before. This is before Transformers. You could take it off and it would be a gun, or you could, you know, it turn into multiple spaceships. And I think that was part of the joy of Micronauts, that you could do that. It was very Transformers-like. You could turn it into a giant robot if you wanted to.
And you don't. I mean, I see them at toy shows sometimes, but I mean, that's not. It's just not a common toy that I feel like comes up a lot.
No.
Nowadays, if you're interested in buying any toy that you had as a kid and like collecting the run or something like that, you're already too late. Like, everybody's on to now. They've moved on to like Silverhawks now. Like, that's the current one that is like shooting through the roof is Silverhawks, one season show, and everybody's buying it up.
They've been on Silverhawks and Mask those were two shows I watched as a kid and loved. And those toys have always been through the roof, because they didn't have like you said, they were one season shows. You know, I think Mask might have had 2, maybe 3, but those toys, they just didn't last. Like it wasn't like, you know, they never stopped making Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toys. Those were out for, you know, they've been out for 20, 30 years, but those Silverhawks ones were barely out for a couple of, what do they call them? Just a couple of runs or whatever.
Where did I get the shirt? I got it from I think from WonderCon. It was one of the t-shirt shops, stalls. I wore this specifically for Ricky, because again, Ricky's sent me on my swamp.
I brought, because we were talking the other day. I have a pile right next to me, because you were talking about how like you wanted books that were, you know, the big get for the year. And it's my big get for the year. It's my big get for like.
Very nice.
My life. I tell people all the time that I'm like, if this channel amounts to nothing, that was one of the coolest things that happened.
If you have more that you want to show, I can make you big and you can show off.
I've got a few.
Let's go for it.
That's my first appearance of Judge Judgington Dredd. That's his legal name.
So cool.
And then in here, I keep my ephemera, because whenever I set up my Judge Dredd book, I set up my 1995 standee comic book advertisement.
Yeah, I love that.
I love that. And then
That's awesome.
I love this one. Attention, citizen. No smoking in this area. And it's a comic book schedule for like a store. I love it.
Yeah, Dave, I've got the one that you sent me here. The nuclear war cover that came out on my birthday, which is super cool.
That was Ricky's idea.
My first Tank Girl I got this year.
Really?
Cool.
I love the British books. And then this happened this year. My Crow 8.0 trilogy.
Yeah, I remember those videos. That was so good.
Yeah, first appearance of the Crow in general. First advertisement of the Crow. So when you set up the 3 books together, you put like this one facing backwards, and then first print of Crow #1. And then
Pretty cool.
Probably like emotionally my biggest book of the year, like the book that like I look at and I'm like, I never thought I'd hold this book, and I had never seen it in person until I bought it. My 247.
That's awesome.
And it's like the cover is way better than it says is that it's a 1.5, because you look at like 1.5s, 2.0s, all the way up to 4.0 of this book on eBay, and they're all trash. But
they're always super faded.
Yeah, the only issue with that one that I can see is like the it looks like tape on the spine.
Yeah, there's tape on the spine, and there's like clearly like a marker, like some kid drew a marker. But like the 3, like if you're making, I really want to make this video, and I would love to hear some people in the comment section to see like what they think would make it. But like with Superman in the Brain, if there's a top 10 list of these are the most important books in Superman's history, like Action #1, Superman 1, obviously. What we're debating is the rest of the 8. What do the rest of the 8 look like? And I would say 252, the first Supergirl, goes on that list, undeniably. I would argue Adventure 210, Crypto, goes on that list. Some people would disagree, but I would, if you know anything about Superman, like the Silver Age history of Superman, the Otto Binder, Kurt Swan era, they love Crypto, and he was constantly in it. So, like, I would argue that he would go in it. But then Adventure 247 is undeniably on that list. And then we're arguing over the rest. Like, does Death of Superman deserve a spot because it was so impactful? I hate that book so much. I would argue against it, but I would entertain arguments of it. But, like, I really want to hear other people's opinions on, like, what else is going in there.
Somebody tell him the issue that he teams up with Jared from Subway.
Yeah,
because that was important.
That was a big one.
Yeah. You're strong enough to hold anyone down, Clark.
You just got to eat this foot long and get out there.
I don't even need to befriend their moms. You're just so strong.
I don't know. Like, I mean, are you going to go back to the golden age for the first appearance of some of the villains? Like, or
that's what I'm saying. Like, so then, like, I mean, you could say Lex Luthor, I guess. Like, what is that? Action 29,
or first appearance of Lois Lane.
That's Action 1.
Okay. All right.
I wish they were separate issues so that I would have a better shot at getting Lois's first appearance. I like Lois. Like, if you put a gun to my head, I like Lois more than Clark.
I love Lois.
Lois is amazing. Every time there's an interdimensional story where Lois and Clark get thrown into another version of Earth, Clark always struggles to get his footing, and within like a week, she's going to pull Pulitzer Prize.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, so the newest, DC all-in run of Superman, I started picking up, which wasn't anything I was reading, but I started picking it up solely because after Absolute Power, they gave Lois superpowers. And so she's Superwoman, and she's flying around with superpowers. And I was like, yeah, I'm totally into that. so I'll pick it up until she's depowered.
I wish she showed up later. Like Action, like 19 was the first Lois Lane. Perfect. I have a shot at it.
Well, there's the first Lois Lane. What is it? The Showcase. That's the first, like, Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane.
Oh, with her and the witch's broom.
No, that's her first issue. There's a Showcase that's before that. That's even harder to find, and I can't remember the issue number, but it's technically the first Lois Lane comic.
Does anybody else have a stack that they brought? I know that I mentioned that.
I have a couple. I just grabbed some stuff that was like big things. Big for me that I picked up this year.
Do you want to go ahead and show off?
Yeah, sure. I'll show. So I got this before the James Gunn trailer dropped, even though it's not his first appearance. So I got Metamorpho #1 this year. Which his series isn't too long, but it's one that I wanted to put together. His first appearance is in A Brave and the Bold, and I do have the second one, but I don't have the first one. Let's see. This was another big get for me, even though I paid $20 for it, because this book was through the roof. Thank you, Taylor Swift. So this is a really beat up copy, but I don't give a crap. This was a gift from, he's in the chat. So Son of Crom, thank you so much. Sent me first appearance of Ultra Boy, Superboy 98. So this is a freaking amazing book. I can't believe I have it, let alone that somebody just gave it to me. So I appreciate that. And then Ricky knows what this one is. I wish the cover gave it away, but it doesn't. So Adventure 293 is the first appearance of the Legion of Super Pets. So this is the first time the pets team up. I think it's the first appearance of Comet the Super Horse too. And then his origin is in which is in an action as well. I wish the Super Pets were on here, but like the first issue is, or this is the first adventure where they all get together and pretend like they're superheroes. And then pretend like they're a super team. Okay, so I haven't opened this yet. Nah, I won't show that. That's stupid. But this is stupid too. How about Archie's Love Scene, produced by Spire Comics. So this is one of those weird Christian Archies. And on the back, they show a lot of their, I Have God's Smuggler. Dope sent me that one.
Smuggler. That's so good.
Yeah. Apparently they did one about Tom Landry. They also did Hansi, the girl who loved the swastika. I
have that one.
I really want the cross and the switchblade because it's about a preacher who goes to the streets and prevents people from getting knifed by switchblades by using the word. But Archie's Love Scene, I think, is the weirdest title. Like, it sounds like an orgy, but it's a Christian comic book. So this is, dollar bin, paid 80 cents for this today. I had to get it. Archie and his pals are driving off on the Rainbow Bridge. I guess they're going to Ragnarok.
Jeez.
And then I sent Hagen a picture of this one. I think this is the weirdest thing I have found this year. It's called The Dreamery. I tried to do a little bit of research into this. And yes,
I love Eclipse Comics.
Yeah. So this is about a family of Catholic centaur farmers. And the son, his name is Andrus. And there you go. Take a look at that. Drink this in. This is the whole story. He's going to get his first pair of horseshoes for Christmas, and his dad is kind of a jerk, but they live with normal people that they call two-leggers, and they have to go to the two-leggers to get their blacksmithing done. And the whole thing is about this kid wanting his Christmas horseshoes, and then a bully centaur kid. There he is. So then this bully centaur kid tells him that it's going to hurt to get horseshoes on. So then the kid runs away and he's lost in the snow, and the blacksmith and the mean Catholic dad have to go into the snow and find the kid. And then they get him his horseshoes. And it's the damnedest thing I've ever read.
I just can't stop picturing a human penis dangling from the horse.
I know you can't.
It's bringing me so much joy for some reason.
So it does say it's adapted by Donna Barr from her original book. I tried to look this up. I cannot find this anywhere, so I don't think it's a published book. I think she wrote a book and then said, nobody wants to read my story about centaurs at Christmas, so I'm going to turn it into this. This comic book has other things, and I think these characters come back, but the next one actually looked like it's an adaptation of Alice in Wonderland. So it doesn't even continue after this, but I think these characters do come back in another story. This is the damnedest thing I found this year. And I definitely wanted to share it with you, Hagen, because I know how much you like centaurs.
Absolutely.
And because I know how much Ricky likes to, imagine they probably do have human penises, right?
If they're able to not kill their partners and procreate in that universe, they'd have to, right?
Well, but no, because it's all centaurs. It's a centaur family, but they're living amongst humans. But she's a centaur too, so she's built to take it.
Oh, okay. So they could be swinging. They could be swinging pipes. That's fine.
Two-leggers. That's what she said. Says Eric. That's all the nonsense I got for you, Hagen.
Okay. There was a just speaking of centaurs briefly, there was a D&D concept character that I saw who was the son of a centaur and a mermaid, but he got the human half of both, and he's just a guy. Or no, it was a minotaur and a centaur, but he got the human half of both, and he's just a guy. And I think that's really funny.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Dave, did you bring anything else?
I did. I got a couple of things that. So I bought this.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I know what that is.
But the whole, and I'm really enjoying it. Like, just Ambush Bug is just a great title.
I would almost argue he's very Deadpool before Deadpool.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I just managed to pick up, and then I got Son of Ambush Bug as well.
Yep.
Which has a whole host of. What I love is just the parody covers as well. Like,
oh, I don't have that one. That's awesome.
Like, they're just really good, funny books, and reading them, they're so out there as well. Like,
that first issue is the first U.S. appearance of Judge Dredd.
This one, the first issue. This one.
Yeah.
Have
you seen it? I
it's
have
the balloon one, right?
It's the balloon. Yeah, it's the balloons. I have it right here. Oh shit! I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
I think they are, but yeah, because I think
it's this one. This is the one that's the first U.S. appearance of Judge Dredd. This is an Ambush Bug one. Superman versus Doom Patrol.
Yeah, that's the one. It's like a balloon in a parade, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Ambush Bug's in this book.
This is one as well I found that I've been looking for a while, and I finally picked one up this year.
You almost bought that at the convention you went to.
Yeah, there was two. There was this one that was graded, or it was take a risk and buy the raw one. And I just went, you know what? I can't be bothered submitting to CGC. And then when this came up, I thought, actually, let's turn it so you can actually see it. There you go. That's better. Yeah, being able to pick this up. Creepy number one. Wow. First one was creepy. An 8.0, not too shabby. Frank Frazetta interior art as well. So yeah, I was really happy to pick that up this year because it's been on my wish list for a while. I love my horror books, and it's been a year of picking up horror in particular.
Do you have the first Vampirella?
I do not, and actually, I'm so scared of that rabbit hole because I really want that issue. And if you're a Warren fan, then you've got to get that book. But it's just, it scares me.
There's no end to it. I'm still here. There's no end to it.
Yeah, that's what made seeing you talk about Vampirella made me like go, no, I can't do this. There is something else here that I want to show as well. It isn't signed by Stan, but this has been one of my things for this year. I'm really happy to.
I have that.
Mm-hmm. So who all is that signed by?
This is signed by. I have a list. So this is my list. It's signed by R. Adams.
Oh, cool.
Jim Shooter. Who else? Carl Potts. Ron Wilson. Joe Rubenstein. Tom DeFalco. Walt Simonson. Louise Simonson. And wherever possible, near their signatures. So they're signing near themselves. That's the only one that I do have, and this is why I brought this today, is Hagen. I know you mentioned you were after, or one of your goals for this year, which you weren't able to do, was get a Stanley signature.
Mm-hmm.
I have this book signed by Stan Lee. I will send you that. So
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude. That's awesome. You totally don't have to do that.
No, it's all good. As I say, I saw it and I was like, well, do you know what? I've literally got 4 copies of this book signed by Stan Lee. So I sent them off to a signing years ago, and I've been sitting on them, and I was like, well, you know what? You haven't got one, so you can have one.
Well, to say I appreciate that is downplaying it a little bit. I really, really do. There was something that you said about one of the graded books that you just showed. You said it's an 8.0, not too shabby. And in my head, I saw 8.0 and I was like, wow, that's perfect. It's stellar. Your threshold for like quality of books is so much higher than like mine is. I'm more than happy with like 2s.
Oh yeah,
1.8.
Right.
But I think it's more because I get them graded, right? And so I'm always So I don't pay the graded price. I always pay like the raw price, and it's just finding books that are raw and then getting them graded and getting, like this was. I'm looking at it. Oh damn! I wish it was a 9.6, but everyone's different, right? In terms of what they look for. But I tend to buy raw and then try and get them graded so I get a good grade. But it's
So do you ship them from Australia to the States to get them graded?
Yeah, sometimes. So I've stopped doing that recently. I'll basically take them with me and just go. So when I do the cons now, it's a lot easier because they just drop it. So that's and then the other thing is you don't run the risk of them getting completely destroyed. So every one of these books, like I was even toying with getting this graded.
Well, what is the one? Steven Gettner, Collecto 6. He has, I think it's a 9.6.
It is a 9.6.
It's a Nightcat and a 9.6 slab, which tickles me to no end.
Yeah, because the completionist in me would be going, I can't have a 9.6. It has to be a 9.8. Like it just has to be.
So that is that, but that's like that is a cardstock cover, square bound book. I feel like it would be pretty. I feel like if you could find one that hadn't been read, and why would anyone read it? You could, I feel like you could find that in a 9.8 pretty easily. I mean,
it's hard because there's a lot of like rubbing on the. so and that's
the
not
pages
me.
are all stuck together. I don't know why.
I get Nightcat for the articles.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I like about it, I don't want to bend the cover because then I might not be able to get it graded. Is this I did read it, right? I did read it, and this story page in the end where she falls. She's got this other character that she's fighting, and she throws her off the building, and she grabs her at the end. And the line of it is, "I'll never let go. I'll pull you down with me." And then Nightcat kills her, drops her off the building. And here's the line.
Just like Superman and that bus full of kids.
Yep. My act is strictly solo.
Oh.
That's cold.
Oh,
so
yeah.
She's a hard-nosed killer, our Nightcat, as well. So not just a singer.
And then after she drops someone off the building, then she goes and does a performance, right?
That's exactly it. It's literally, here you go. I just killed someone. Now I'll go and sing.
Now it's time to put on my show.
Her moral compass is somewhat skew.
So not Hagen, but maybe we were talking about 80s movies earlier. Anybody like the movie They Live? John Carpenter. Okay. So
Kick ass and chew bubblegum.
Kick ass. It has a 10-minute fight between Keith David and Roddy Piper in an alley. Like you think it's over 4 times, and it just keeps going. It is the longest fist fight in cinema. It's the best. My wife got me these figures for Christmas. I think they're the newscasters. Wrong way.
Those are great.
I love these NECA figures so much. I have a big Obey poster on my wall too, but I just thought these were great.
if your resolution were any worse, those would be very problematic looking, but it cleared up just in time for you to not get canceled.
Came with this cool TV too. Obey. When's the last time you saw a TV that size? I actually have one in my basement for my old Nintendo systems.
I'm just trying to think
I am going to show off just some of the stuff that I got this year. This isn't everything, but these are like some of the things that stuck out in my mind. I like last issues. I got the last issue of Mad Magazine for like $6 at a flea market. I also got Terminator: The Burning Earth #1, which is the first published work that Alex Ross did. Dave, you sent me this 2000 AD Prague #197, which was published the 31st of January 1981. So a little early for me, but on the date of my birth, which is super cool. I already showed the ferret, but there's the ferret. There's Borgie, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, The Dog of War, issue 5, cover B. Just rolls right off the tongue, but it's absolutely lovely.
Borgie.
I'm always an A cover guy, but there's just no way with that one you could not pick Borgie.
Right. I got Sandman issue #2. And I also read Sandman for the first time this year. Not all of it. The first 22 issues, so like the first arc. I did read
just
that.
in time to hate Neil Gaiman.
Yeah, right.
As I was going through it, that news came out, and I was like, "Oh man, it's all of them. Why is it all of them?" Well, speaking of cool things that I read, my favorite thing that I read this year was it's down here. I actually got it. I got this for $7 at a used bookstore. It's Saga of Swamp Thing Volume 1. This is the first time that I read it, and it's just as good as everybody said it was. I super loved it. Particularly, there's I think it's the annual where he goes to hell, and he meets like Etrigan the demon and does all that stuff. That was a really cool issue. And the issue with fruit sex, that was a good one too. That was really trippy. I also, Ricky, on your recommendation, bought and read Superman Red and Blue. All of the stories in here I liked, with the exception of one. It was the one with the robotic crypto dog, and they're in space, and I don't quite know why that was, but like the art in here is all just really nice. It's really cool. And there is, Ricky, that story that you told me about with crypto. I think I have it bookmarked.
Oh, when he first arrives on Earth. Oh my God, it's so good. Yeah.
Look at that. Oh, it's so cute.
Because the lead up to it is like a story about how Clark like can't connect with kids. He can't play. Like he can't play ball with kids. And then even if he can, you know what I mean? Like he can't play with kids.
Mm-hmm.
So like to have something that he can throw the ball as far as he can and the dog's going to bring it back. It meant so much to him. It's so cool.
Yeah. It was just adorable. One of the other things that I got was replacing a childhood book that I traded away because I'm a stupid idiot. But I think it's the first time that Daredevil and Doctor Doom fight, which like that obviously wouldn't go well, but it's awesome.
Does he get rolled? Does he get rolled? He has to get rolled.
I think it's a Doom bot, and so like he holds his own for a bit. But yeah, he doesn't win. That's the first time that I ever saw Galactus was in that book. There's a big splash page with Galactus that's really, really cool. Obviously, like the biggest like monetary book that I got this year was my copy of Avengers 4. And Dave, you talking about that 8-0 creepy being like, oh, it's all right. That is when I picked it up, it was like a 1.5, 1.8. And I'm pretty sure that Jeff from Comics Bob pressed it into like a 2.5 or a 3. Like it's just I'm in love with that thing, and it's the exact right amount of worn for me to be completely and totally in love with it, because it's lived a life. Like some kid loved it. But my what's up?
No, that's an important point though. Like I don't like those books of that age. You never like if you can get an 8. Oh my god, it would be a real struggle. So yeah, that age point. It depends on where it is in the age group, right? Like if it's a Silver Age book, you know, that's about what you can expect.
I always feel kind of bad when I see like high grade, like silver, golden, even like later comic books. I feel bad because nobody read them, nobody loved them in the way that they were meant to be loved, and it just kind of, I don't know, it's something that I think about. But like some kid very clearly loved that book, and that makes me happy. So as far as like monetarily, that was the biggest thing that I picked up. But I think my favorite thing from this year is this. And this is a book, Ricky, you would know this, that I got Brandon from Mon Comics to take to Terrificon and get signed by just a whole bunch of people. There's Ryan Colossus Collector on here. JP and Rohan are on here. Bruce from Up North Comics is giving me grader's notes on the book right there. Brandon from Mon Comics, Mike from Lunch Money Comics, Troy from Awesome Toy Box with Troy, and Ricky. Is this the only comic book you've ever drawn a penis on? Or
no, that's my signature for like comic book people, because I've been asked a couple times and they're like, "Oh, can you sign this book?" And I'll sign it with the K's penis.
Well, it's perfect. I saw it and laughed, and I didn't expect anything other than that. But yeah, that's one of my favorite things that I've gotten this year. I just think it's really cool. And Dave and Nate, I think you guys are both planning on potentially being in Charlotte this coming June.
Yes, I'm definitely confirmed.
Okay, well, both of you guys are going to be signing that as well if you'll have me.
I'll have you.
But yeah, that's super cool.
You've got to sign mine too. I've got the same book because I nicked you already.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, because I didn't want everybody to sign just like a blank like Captain America something, but it was the right amount of stupid, I think.
Yeah. It's perfect.
It was the stupid that was in my wheelhouse. So we've gone on we're at an hour and 20 minutes right now, so we'll wrap this up here in just a bit. But I did want to ask, like, what was your favorite thing that you guys read this year? And do you have any plans that you like feel like sharing for next year? Like, is there anything that you're thinking about doing or wanting to do, or, you know, this, that, or the other?
Go ahead, Dave.
I was going to go. So coming back to that creepy book, Warren Magazines has been a real revelation for me in terms of just getting into them and the stories that were there, and the stories and the art. Just, they're all little one shots. They're all fantastic. And that's another reason why I'm worried about getting into Vampirella, because it's the early series of Vampirella. She was still just a host, right, Ricky?
First, like, I think I can't remember the exact number, but it's under 10. The first issue, she's just a host. But then after I think like maybe issue like 6, 7, 8, or 9, somewhere in there, that's when she gets her own individual stories. And then that's where like Jose Gonzalez comes in and just like redefines how good drawing with a pencil can be in the 70s.
But I've just loved the stories. They're so imaginative. They had some great writers, particularly at the beginning of the run, because Archie Goodwin was running the show, and towards, I think it's like 70 or something like that, they just dropped off and started doing reprints of earlier stories. But I love them because it's just lovely, you know, one story horror stories. And yeah, that's the thing that I'm really, you know, enjoyed reading this year, is getting into those, because I knew nothing about them at the beginning of the year. So, but I do, yeah, collecting wise, next year is just more of the finding out stuff from. So I'll give you a good example before we close off. I did not know anything about but I found out about this at the beginning of the year. This is Bernie Wrightson, DC 100-page spectacular number 4, Weird Mystery Tales, sorry. And found this, but it's just I found this from another channel. So there's a big story that I'll do a video on that in a future video. But it's that sort of stuff. Like I'll watch your channels, I'll watch all the YouTube channels, and finding new books. That's my goal this year, is to sort of just dig into things that mean something to someone else, and then find it. Like I'll go and buy the Ferret run now because I love hearing about the Ferret. I wouldn't have got Nightcat if it wasn't for these, this community. So those are the sort of things that's what I'm looking forward to, is finding bizarre, weird, rare stuff that no one knows about and telling everyone about it.
Yeah, that is fun. There's a lot of good books like that came out, excuse me, this year. But honestly, like I think literally the best thing I read this year was old, and it was The Flintstones by Mark Russell. I think it was a 12-issue series, collected in 2 trades. I don't know how easy it is to find. I feel like they said that they were
awful hard to find. I was looking for the comics, and if you want to buy 12 issues for like $80, I guess you can find it on eBay. But like when I found it at a convention for $40, I was like talking to the vendor, and I'm like, I never see this book, and he was like taking my money, being like, I never see this book. You never see the series.
I feel like I heard they were going to do a hardcover, like deluxe edition or something, or that just came out. So if you just wanted to read it, I think that'd be the way to do it. For a while, the trade was even out of print. I got it from a friend. But this year, like books that came out or wrapped up this year, I really liked, it was mostly independent, but Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees was anamorphic animal serial killer story. Grommets was like an 80s movie. Like it was a skateboarding themed coming of age story in California. And you held up that Mad magazine earlier, Hagen. Like the artwork inside reminds me of Matt Drucker. Just everything's happening. All the panels have a lot going on, and it's co-written by Brian Posen. I really like the new, I like the old Turtles too, but this new Turtles launch that they just did with Jason Aaron writing it has just been freaking phenomenal. Like it's been, if you're a Turtles fan, it's been really good. So those were some of my favorite things I read this year. Next year, I'm with Dave. I kind of want to keep doing more of the same. I do want to, we talked a little bit about running out of space earlier. I got to rein it in a little bit with the overbuying. Like if I don't know, like I don't want to pass on things like the Dreamery just because I'm running low on space. Like I want to be able to get this weird stuff and share it, because that's what I think is cool. But I think I do need to I guess refocus some of the runs I'm collecting. Like, I want to read these things and I want to read them in completion, but some of them I've just got a lot of stuff that I think it's time to let go. Like when I look at it, I've got a good chunk of comics and I'm like, I'm not going to read this particular run again. Whereas like, I do go back and pull random issues of Silver Age Flash and still, and read them. So it's got to be something that I want to read. But yeah, I still just want to hunt down weird stuff. I want to keep getting the runs I'm trying to collect and buy Silver Age books whenever I can. Although I feel like the era of cheap $4 Superman 12 centers may be winding down. Like that book might, I can see it spiking a little bit, especially if it's got a crypto on the cover now.
Yeah, you're going to be living in the hellscape that Marvel fans have been living in for 20 years.
Not if you're already done.
Yeah.
No, that I thought about you when all the spec was kicking off. I was like, oh, Ricky's like going to be sitting there going, oh, I don't have to worry about this anymore.
Oh yeah. I posted it on Instagram. The day before the trailer dropped, a 3.0 sold for $2,800. And then the day the trailer dropped, a 3.0 sold for $3,800. It went up $1,000 with a trailer. And I have a 3.0, and I'm like, but I bought mine for $1,100. So like I'm sitting pretty. And my wife always jokes when I talk about, like, I'll show her the value increase. Like, here's what I paid. Here's what it's worth. And she goes, it's worth $0 because you're not selling it. Until you cross my palm with silver and sell me your Christ, there is no value to it. It's just paper. And she's not wrong.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Because I was thinking about that too. Like the people who watch like the value of their books, I don't quite understand. Because the stuff that I would be willing to sell isn't worth anything, and the stuff that I am willing to that is worth something, I'm not willing to sell. So yeah, I'm a horrible spec buyer.
Well, I think like Ricky was talking about that guy who over collected to the point that he had to become a seller. We haven't hit that threshold yet because we're still buying things we like. We haven't hit that, like, and I hope we don't, but there is a point, and I've seen it in other people, where they just buy everything, whether they, whether they like the character, whether they want to read it, they like convince themselves that it's a good deal, and they just buy everything. And like, when you do that, then you don't have any like skin in it. So you don't care about selling it. If you got it for 50 cents, sell it for $1. But like, you're still primarily collecting your Captain America stuff. I'm still primarily collecting a lot of the, DC runs and things. But like when you finish that, I guess that's what's going to happen. At that point, is it going to be like, do I decide to go chase something else, or am I full? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know.
It's funny. That character that got the started building up is. So I'm at that point, but it's more undercopies. So it's very much, I'll just, because I'm chasing that higher grade. That's my collecting type. I'll sort of go, right, now I've got this. Now I need to upgrade that copy, and that's my problem. Is a lot of my stuff just sits in another room, which then I don't do anything with. So it's just sort of sitting there. So again, it's worth X, but it doesn't translate into anything because I don't sell them.
So when you upgrade, you still keep the one that was underneath as well?
Yeah, because I can't get. I'm again. This is like collector's phobia, right? Like, do I really want to sell that? I still remember getting that one. So
it's not upgrading; it's hoarding.
That's right.
Yeah, it is.
I say that with all the love in my heart, man.
No, but so I can empathize. I have 3 copies of Flaming Carrot 27, the one with the turtles that Todd McFarlane drew. I have 3 copies that I got this year. And I keep telling myself that I could sell the other 2 because, they're not big money books, but I don't do it. I don't do it because I like to say I have 3 copies of that book. It's in the filing cabinet back there. So I get what you're saying. Yeah. Like
the worst one was I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm now getting to the point now where it's like, I'll get duplicates and I'll go, oh, this is slightly higher grade. And I justify it by going, well, that's the pence variant. That's the newsstand. And that's the direct. I can have all 3. It's fine.
It's a sickness, boys. We have a sickness.
Ricky, you got any big plans this year?
I'll do big plans, and then I'll do my 2 favorite reads. My big plans, more weird content. I want to do the thing is I like making videos about stuff that I learned, and then I like sharing that weird and wacky information, because so many times we'll look up a comic book artist and it'll be like, he was born in 1939. He died in 1995 of cancer. He had 2 kids. History, and that's it. That's all. Like, it's nothing fascinating, but like everything I learned about like the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer book that I got, I learned so much about that book and like the history behind like Montgomery Ward department stores and how that worked. It was like a pseudo Amazon back when all we had was trains and women couldn't divorce. It was fascinating. Everything I learned about the Addams Family was all this year. So much stuff that I learned this year, and so like I'm doing research right now for a little mini doc that I want to do about like the allegations against Stan Lee. like coalescing all of the information about all the different creators who said like, no, he stole from me. And then like how the stories like ended, like, okay, this guy got a settlement. This guy got a settlement. Stanley, for a guy who doesn't steal, he sure pays out a lot. So like I wanted to do like a mini doc about that, because every single time I talk about Stanley in a video, someone in the comment section invariably, inevitably, eventually always says, he's a thief. So like, how is that still existing in the zeitgeist for him to be so popular? Like, did he really steal this stuff? What does that look like? I found radio interviews where he's arguing with Jack Kirby, like live. He's like straight up yelling at. He's like, "You never wrote a word, Jack. Not a word. You clearly never read the final product if you think your words made it in." Like he's hollering at him on the radio. It's pretty sick. Mm-hmm. I also found out that, and this is just the smallest preview, for years, including how I heard it, there was a late night alien radio talk show where people would call in and share their stories of their encounters with aliens or the evidence that they perceive they have. And a panicked caller calls in at like 11:30 at night, and he's crying. And if this is an actor, then it's an Academy Award winning actor. And he's saying that like, I don't have time. I have to tell you everything that I'm going to tell you. They're not aliens as you perceive them. They're interdimensional beings. The government's known about them for years. And he's going over this information really quickly, and he's terrified, and the call abruptly ends. And for decades, people have looked at this as a piece of like alien lore and potential evidence. Like, listen to how convincing this person is. Turns out it was an Avengers writer years later admits that he was the caller. And so that has this connection to comic books, where back in the day, this guy who wrote for the Avengers in the 90s made a crank phone call with his friends and became like internet lore for evidence of aliens. And it's like, I love stories like that where I can link it back to comics. And so like that's stuff that I'm still researching, but that's what you can expect out of me. Content that will over its lifetime get 100,000 views, but definitely not in the week I release it. But the two best things I read this year, for comics, it was another Mark Russell book. It was Serial. It was you got to read it.
I haven't read it yet. It's on my list.
It's delightful. It's cereal, CEREAL, as in the food. And it is a one-shot trade paperback. It is in first print. So if you buy the trade, that's the first print. There's no individual issues. And it is all of the cereal mascots in a horror tale that takes itself dead serious. So like the Count Chocula is the Count de Coco, and there's General Mills is a military general who's trying to like steal the crown of the leprechaun. It's sick and it's really funny. Fantastic read. You can get it on Amazon for like $20. Best book I read of the year.
$14.49 right now.
Yeah, buy it and read it. I'm telling you, it's a great time. Great writing. And then best book of the year, Black Leopard, Red Wolf, was a fantasy novel based on African myth. So like every weird, and I love cultural stories because like they have different myths than we do. And so like weird things like if a baby is born with their bottom teeth first before their top teeth, that child is considered cursed. And so they're thrown out of the village. And so this one of the stories, because it's a book about stories, one of the stories is all of these cursed children banished from their homes for various curses, whether or not your teeth came in different or you were born without legs. They live in this hut with this witch woman, and she like protects them. And like, how does the world perceive them? That's just one story. And, you know, the main character is a guy with one wolf eye, and they don't tell you right away how he got that wolf eye, but he has a perfect sense of smell. So if he smells something, he can tell you, he can point to where in the world you are. And that's like the main character of the book. It's amazing. And there's just so many weird monsters and myths. But yeah, I mean, I've read some good stuff this year. That's it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad that you mentioned a book, because the three books that you recommended to me, I have only read two. I haven't read Red Dragon yet, but I read Communion and A Good and Happy Child. And A Good and Happy Child I'm still thinking about it. And Communion, the day after I read it, I asked my dad, like, did you ever read this book? And he was like, by this person, right? And I was like, yeah. And he and I, driving to Thanksgiving, completely bogarted the conversation in the car, and we talked about the different perspectives and stuff that were in that book. So that was really good. I think I would choose A Good and Happy Child over it because I gravitate more towards fiction than I do nonfiction, because nonfiction makes me, especially that kind, makes me think way too much. I can just accept fiction on its face. But like my favorite comic book that I read this year, I mean, it's probably Alan Moore's Swamp Thing. I also read Sandman for the first time this year. I read Watchmen for the first time this year. I read a lot of I got a black and white like Tales of Suspense Essentials, which had 57 to 99, and I really liked that. It's goofy hijinks and nonsense. From Marvel Silver Age. I really enjoyed that. There was a bunch of good stuff that I read this year that I really enjoyed. And as far as like plans in the coming year, like I am choosing which cons I go to specifically so that I can meet people. Like I live in South Carolina. I'm not going to SC Comic Con because nobody that I know is going to be there. I'm saving my money so that I can go to Heroes Con instead, because there's a higher chance of me being able to meet like internet friends there. And like more than buying books, I want to be able to meet people. I want to finish my Cap Volume 1 run so that it's done and so that I can get other stuff. Because if I don't finish it, the voices are going to keep getting louder and louder and louder. And one day the cacophony will overtake me. And I want to get like more varied stuff. There was something else that I wanted to say. There was something else that I wanted to do. Obviously, it wasn't that important. No, it was. I love long form content. I love like video essays. I listen to them all the time. If I found a 12-hour video essay on Phantom Menace and I giggled with delight and played it while I was at work.
Is it the Red Letter Media one? No,
it's not. It's a different. It's called A Brief Analysis of Star Wars: A Phantom Menace, and it's 12 hours on the dot. It's really good. It's obviously very detailed. But like I love stuff like that. And there is one topic that I want to do like a long form documentary on. I don't know if any of you guys are into sports. Dave, you told me that you went to a cricket match the other day.
Yep.
But there's a YouTuber that I really like named John Boyce. And if you just like good storytelling and storytelling through statistics, he's a great guy. And not all of his stuff is about sports, but even the stuff that is really good. But I want to do like a John Boyce style documentary on a figure that we've talked about like at length before. And like I'm in the outlining process for that. I've done some voiceover stuff for it. I'm trying to learn how to use Blender, but it's really fucking obtuse. But yeah, that's a goal that I want to get done this year.
CapCut changed everything for me for editing.
I have to build scenes. And because I need to do like Google Earth style like flyovers and stuff. And build charts and the like. And I don't think I can do that in CapCut.
You won't be able to build chart. You'd have to, cobble together a couple different things. But like my editing took like a sharp increase when I moved from, I was using iMovie for pretty much everything I did. But then CapCut, like I got special effects and moving cameras and shit.
I just now learned how to use DaVinci Resolve. I can't switch to another thing.
Well, see, CapCut I can do on my phone, and it's really simple, and that's what I adore about it. I can do all my filming, and then like instead of just hopping on eBay for 10 minutes and wasting time. If someone leaves the room and I'm bored, I can hop on and edit something for 10 minutes. So it doesn't feel so daunting. Because I mean, I've learned that it's about an hour for 10 minutes of footage is how it works out.
Yeah.
Independent of filming. So if I have all my footage all set to get 10 minutes of exactly what I want, I have to edit for an hour.
So with CapCut, you're still editing 10-1 like that?
Yeah, but like it's because I have more tools. Like with iMovie, it was I could do what I could cut like I wanted, but it was really simple, and there's no special effects as text on screen. You in iMovie, if you type a line of text, I can't hit enter at any point to make the text into a block. You know what I mean? Something as simple as that I can't do, but like with CapCut I can, and then I can animate the text so it shoots across the screen or it dissolves slowly. Like you don't have any of those features with a lot of the editing software that I was using.
DaVinci has all that. It's a steep learning curve.
Yes.
Because that's what I use too. But yeah, I mean, I can shoot. Sometimes I'll shoot like 3 quick videos, like in a couple of hours. The filming, it takes no time, but editing can take me days. And even like if I get it done, I like to let things set for a little while, put it in the drawer so you can come back and look at it because you're like, why did I leave that? So, I can always shave about 5 more minutes off. And sometimes if I put stuff out too quick, I didn't cut enough.
I don't have that problem. I release stuff as soon as I make it because I'm like, I have to get this out of me. But yeah, so thank you guys for coming on and just hanging out. I've really enjoyed just like getting to talk to you guys. If there's anything that you guys want to like plug that's coming up, go for it. But we'll go ahead and say like goodbye soon.
This weekend, we're hanging out with Dave.
We sure are.
We sure are.
Yeah. It'll be good. I think Sunday night, your time. We've probably given the surprise away, but still okay. But we will be joined by other guests as well. So there'll be a whole plethora of us going through more of the same in terms of what books we've all been collecting this year. But I'm assuming we'll do different ones this time, but who knows?
I'll do my best.
Yeah. That's me.
But yeah, if nobody else has anything else, I'll go ahead and end it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already subscribed to all of these guys, do that. They're great. And like the stream on your way out if it's not too much trouble.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Bye.
Take care, everyone.